Your Honor, in speaking to Mr. Mays, he acknowledges that the first test result of April 10th.
Right off the bat, the defense is trying to control the narrative. This is strategic. They're not denying everything, they're reframing it. That a classic move in violation hearings. Admit just enough to seem honest, but shift focus toward pro.
Was immediately after he was arrested and released from the Washtenaw County Jail. And he does acknowledge having used a substantial amount of substances prior to his arrest. And his testing was within 24 hours of using those substances. And so we'd like for Your Honor to focus on the next date, which clearly shows that he has not continued to use cocaine. There is not a positive for cocaine. He is working on getting the marijuana out of his system. He indicates that he has been a heavy marijuana user. We are not clear about the amphetamines, but he is very open to going to substance use treatment. He recently obtained employment and he's currently working. If the court would give him the opportunity to try to maintain his employment and go to some sort of intensive outpatient treatment, he would be very, very much appreciative of that and is willing to test if the court wants more frequently. Is that fine with you?
Absolutely. So he's admitting to the violation as to at least the fifth.
He is indicating that there's definitely would still be some marijuana in his system based on the.
What about the amphetamines?
We have no explanation for the amphetamines.
So does he want a hearing on that, or what does he want to do?
Would you like a hearing?
This is the turning point of the defense argument. Employment plus willingness to seek treatment. Courts love rehabilitation over punishment, but only if it feels genuine. The big red flag? Unexplained amphetamines. That gap could seriously hurt credibility. What do you think? Second chance or too risky?
Like a hearing on that? That was something
I use it. Your Honor, I've been fighting hard to put things back together, and just brought an opportunity for me to change things around in my life. To successfully gain employment. I had previously experienced a lot in life, as far as life-changing situations, finally direction to put things in a better direction. Am I wrong for doing the things that I have done? Absolutely, Your Honor. It's just been a hard fight, last few years. Saying some life-changing situations, to where life just wasn't the best. I want to kind of put everything out there, but I fought self-defense murder, and I was able to overcome it. And it has been, just mentally just a challenge. And just as I started to, want things to come better for myself, I just looked at this opportunity of me clearing up things that I've done in the past to move forward. Am I right? Did I make the right decisions? Absolutely, I did not. I accept all accountability for my actions. I just believe that me being incarcerated right now just sets me back further from going into a better, positive direction.
So with that, it doesn't sound he is not looking to adjudicate the issue, and he acknowledges that he has a substance use problem and is just asking for another opportunity.
Now this This is raw emotion. Defendants often shift from legal defense to personal storytelling when they feel the stakes slipping. He's not just arguing facts anymore. He's asking for empathy. But here's the reality. Judges hear stories like this every single day. The question is, does this one stand out?
I have been fighting.
Whatever, they'll adjourn this matter out 1 week and try to figure out something, but to April 23rd, 2026, 9 a.m. If he wishes a hearing, let the court know and we'll set it at the time, but he's, at this point, his defendant remanded. No?
Yes.
That's it for that block. Get a break. All right. Court consideration.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. I have before me a plea sheet that indicates a defendant will be pleading to an added count 3 of operating while intoxicated, second offense, a 1-year offense. Upon a successful at counts 1 and 2. Best defendant is also to enter into and participate in the court sobriety court program. That's the court's full understanding of.
That's completely correct, Your Honor.
That's correct, Your Honor.
I haven't sworn.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Name.
John Lenz.
Sir, it is this court's understanding. We're going to be pleading guilty to the charge of operating while intoxicated second. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year incarceration, communities, and a $1,000 fine plus court costs. The court could order community service and any rehabilitative programs the court deems necessary. Could order your vehicle immobilized, could order you to pay the cost of the prosecution as well as the cost of any emergency governmental services. You understand that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Sir, you also understand that while I'm taking your plea, I would not be your sentencing judge and you would be sentenced before Judge Freshour in the 18A3 District Court. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Still wish to plead guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
To that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
You understand that by pleading guilty, you'll not have a trial of any kind.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Signed in advice form, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any question regarding any of those rights?
No, Your Honor.
Please look at paragraph 5. Those are your rights which are part of a trial. You understand that by pleading guilty, you'll be giving up those rights as well as all the rights on that form.
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand you're giving up your right to appeal upright.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you on probation or parole?
No, Your Honor.
Has anybody promised you anything other than what's been stated here today to get you to plea?
No, Your Honor.
Anybody threaten you or coerce you?
No, Your Honor.
You're doing this voluntarily
Yes, Your Honor.
of your own free will
Yes, Your Honor.
and because you believe that you're guilty of this offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
December 18, 2025, at the location of Riker Road near Stillwater Drive in Dexter Township, Washtenaw County, State of Michigan, were you operating a motor vehicle?
Yes, Your Honor.
Prior to operating that motor vehicle, did you consume intoxicating liquor?
Yes, Your Honor.
What'd you have and how much?
I had roughly 3 to 4 shots and about 10 or 11 beers.
Were you stopped by the police or was there an accident?
I was stopped by the police.
Okay, why'd they stop you?
I was asleep at the wheel.
Were you ultimately arrested?
Yes, Your Honor.
You were taken to the hospital for a blood draw?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what was the results of the blood draw?
.232.
You don't have any reason to dispute those test results, do you, sir?
No, Your Honor.
All right. And had you previously been convicted of operating while intoxicated on or about January 12th, 2018 in a Kentucky court and or of operating while intoxicated on or about June 29th, 2021, also in a court in Kentucky?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, I do have to apprise you that if you commit misconduct between the time that I accept your plea and the time of your sentencing, misconduct is defined by the Michigan court rules, you would not be entitled to withdraw your plea, and the court would not be bound by any sentence evaluation or recommendation. You understand that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is counsel aware of any other promises, threats, or other inducements which have led to this plea?
No, Your Honor.
And have I complied with the court?
You are satisfied.
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will accept the defendant's plea of guilty to count 3. Counts 1 and 2 are dismissed. I'll indicate a pre-sentence investigation is ordered. However, most of that's been done since he's going to be sentenced into sobriety court. Sentencing in this matter will be April 23rd and 26th. What time was that?
9:30.
And 9:30.
Yes, sir.
9:30 before Judge Fresh Hour. Bond will continue.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It is.
Go ahead, state your name.
Elizabeth Judick.
Said it quietly so as not to.
I know, I know as I was saying it, I'm like, that's wrong. Anyway, I have a plea form indicating defendant's going to plead to an added count 2 of attempted resisting instructing a police officer to 1-year offense. Upon our successful plea to that charge, count 1 would be dismissed. That's the court's full understanding of it.
Sure.
Yes, Your Honor.
May I have her sworn?
And do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
So do.
State your name, please.
Liz.
Ma'am, it is this court's understanding that you're going to plead guilty to the charge of attempted resisting and obstructing a police officer. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year incarceration and a $1,000 fine plus court costs. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Still wish to plead guilty? And to that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Now, you understand that by pleading guilty, you'll not have a trial of any kind.
Yes, sir.
Signed an advice of rights form, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any question regarding any of those rights? Look at paragraph 5. You'll see a copy on the podium. Those are your rights which are part of a trial. You understand by pleading guilty, you'll be giving up those rights as well as all the rights on there.
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand you're giving up your right to appeal of right?
Yes.
Are you on probation or parole?
No.
Has anybody promised you anything other than what's been stated here today on the record to get you to plead?
No, Your Honor.
Anybody threaten you or coerce you?
No.
You're doing this voluntarily and of your own free will?
Your Honor.
And also because you believe that you're guilty of this offense? February 16, 2026, Carpenter Road near Center Valley Drive, Pittsfield Township, Washtenaw County, State of Michigan. Did you come into contact with a police officer from Pittsfield Township Department of Public Safety?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. What happened?
The police officer told me to get back in my car, and I said no.
What was happening at that moment?
He pulled me over. I was on my way to drop my car off at the tire place to get my tire fixed.
Okay.
And then go to the movies with my kids. Sorry, Your Honor. So the police officer pulled me over. I was confused. I thought he was pulling over the car in front of me that didn't have a license plate. So I pulled into the tire place. I got out of my car. I'm a busy mom, so I just wanted to speak to the police officer. He yelled at me to get into my car, and I said no. And I asked him why he had pulled me over. He grabbed me, and I tried to get away.
Can we approach, Your Honor?
Yeah, I think we better. Council approach. Bench conference. Ma'am, were you aware at some point that the officer was pulling you over because your registration had expired?
I had no idea, Your Honor.
Okay. As you're sitting, why didn't you remain in the vehicle?
I was, like I said, I was running errands, and I honestly,
I understand that.
I don't.
The officer told you to remain in the vehicle. You didn't. Is that correct?
Well, I had gotten out because I, in my mind,
Let me ask it this way. Whether you got out beforehand, at some point the officer told you to get back in your vehicle and remain in your vehicle, correct?
Yes,
You failed to follow that instruction. Is
correct.
that correct? All right. Ultimately, determined that the reason that the officer pulled you over was in regard to your registration.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, can you
Ultimately, you determined that the reason that the officer pulled you over was in reference to your registration.
eventually, I I did not know that before.
Didn't ask that.
Yes,
Ultimately, you realize that.
yes, Your Honor.
So under all of those circumstances, you would agree that the officer's command for you to get back in your vehicle and remain in your vehicle was a lawful command for you.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And that you refused to follow that.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ma'am, if I accept your plea and you commit misconduct between the time of my acceptance of your plea and the time of sentencing, you would not be permitted to withdraw your plea, and the court would not be bound by any sentence evaluation or recommendation. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, are you aware of any of the promises, threats, or other inducements which have led to this plea?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Have I complied with the court?
You are satisfied.
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will accept the defendant's plea of guilty to count two. Count one is dismissed. Pre-sentence investigation and report is ordered at 14A1 probation. Sentencing in this matter will be
May 13th at 9 a.m.
May 13, 2026, 9 a.m. Before me. Bond will continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ma'am, on your way out on the left, about 2/3 of the way down the hallway is my probation department. Stop in there and get instructions so that the sentencing process can begin.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Court calls the case of the people.
William Amadeo,
There are
William
two cases.
Amadeo, P76194 on behalf of Miss Moore on the state case.
Okay. Morning, Mr. Ramdale. Judge,
Morning,
I did.
Mr. Reeser.
Okay, are you guys done with the greetings?
Yes, Judge.
All right, let's roll.
Yes.
No.
Thank you, Judge. I believe on my case we're asking for an adjournment. I believe we're going to be hoping to wrap these up once Mr. Amandale wraps up his. I can wrap up mine, and we can get everything solved.
And Judge, you did grant her a PR bond into rehab. I found out there might be one more warrant coming, so I'm working on a global plea for her. She has a case tomorrow as well that Mr. Bradell's filling in. I'm asking for a 2-week adjournment, and we're either going to waive up or solve it down here, but we will not be running prelims, Your Honor.
There's a retail fraud first case up for PCC.
Tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
The 3 other warrants request in the queue that happened.
3 other warrants. Are those? Do you know, are they felonies or what?
One is from 2025. I think there was actually before substance, and then 2 are from 2026 from YPD that occurred in January and February for Water Street.
Got it. Okay. That won't affect necessarily, Mr. Amadeo, your decision.
No, Your Honor, it will not. We have to get everything wrapped up, but if she's going to have the warrants issued, I certainly want to make sure we do it all efficiently. So if they tell me it's going to be issued, I'll get on top of that, but it will not affect my decisions, Judge.
I don't know that that's the reason for my question. I don't know that Ms. Zender was saying that. She's just saying they're in the queue.
Correct, and I know they're not like you those types of so
She normally doesn't view those types of warrants because they're beneath. That's why she
I understand, Your Honor. I feel a little insecure right now, but I will tell you, if they do get issued, I will work on globalizing everything. It will not affect decisions.
All right, let's do this then. Let me adjourn these out to May 6th. We'll see what's going to happen with the warrant, then do that.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you,
All
Judge.
right. Thank you.